Hi there, how you doing? Thank you so much for those of you who watched my last video about what is fascism, and also, in relation to this rally that will be happening today in our market square. And it got me thinking, the title of this rally that's happening, it's called Community Solidarity. And it got me really thinking about what actually is solidarity, what is community, because it seems very much so that the powers that be are very much polarizing us, atomizing us, sort of through rule and divide. It seems that a lot of people seem to be almost at each other's necks at the moment. You can't do right for doing wrong. So on this poster, it mentioned misogyny, racism, and all of these ism words, like I mentioned in the last video. It's also got me thinking a little bit about what actually is community these days, because, it doesn't seem like people do actually speak to their neighbours or have necessarily a good relationship with their neighbours. Perhaps they're at war even with their neighbours. And I'm quite lucky. There is quite a good community spirit in Glastonbury. I do speak to my neighbours on both sides, and it's very amicable. However, the idea of what community is has vastly been expanded, especially since the age of the internet, and people can have live discussions. Last night I enjoyed this morning watching Mark May's live discussion last night. It was on StreamYard, and we can kind of connect with people all over the world now. We can watch their videos. Alexander Quinn, who I was on a few months ago, he has a massive big reach. He reaches thousands of people worldwide. Each of his videos reach between 10 and 40,000, and other people reach over 100,000. It's even going into millions. So things can go viral, messages can get across worldwide, which on one level is really exciting. And it also means that we can also connect in with like-minded souls. So for instance, I've been following Tea Break with Tasha. She's really wonderful. I really like the succinct points that she puts across. She plans her videos very well. She's a beautiful person. I really like her videos. Also, according to Carl, who I've mentioned, and Mark Mays really bears his soul. He's very spontaneous and intuitive. So, it's almost like we can get to know people through these channels and these ways of communication. So there is very much this sort of, worldwide internet community. And, I'm sort of thinking today about communities. Is it that, town centres now are practically non-existent? People are very much shopping online for things, although, to buy clothes and things, I personally think it's really nice to try them on. We have a community on a Tuesday in the assembly rooms in Glastonbury where we all make things and sell things. See this nice little cardigan I've got on? It's a really lovely cardigan. I don't know if you can see it. I'm just sitting in my bed. But this was made by a lovely lady who I do the market with on a Tuesday. So we can support each other. And I think supporting each other is actually community. Mark Mays did a little video about mine and Tasha's channels, and he's got a wider reach than certainly that I've got. So thank you, Mark. So we can create community in all these different ways now. It's not necessarily just in the physical, although I do prefer, personally, I'm a bit old-fashioned. I like that one-on-one, or I like the group meetings. But, we have access to these other groups online. I know I was in a women's group doing Zooms very early in the morning, and that was a really good routine to get into. So what do you think community is? What's community to you? And are communities dying, physical communities in towns, villages, or are people sort of forming their own groups, like-minded groups? Especially since COVID, I think a lot of our friendship groups changed. Perhaps, you know, in families, things changed within families and shifted. Anyhow, so yeah, just got me thinking a little bit about what community is. So thanks so much for watching. I just very much ramble off the top of my head. I don't really plan these videos, so I really appreciate your support. Take care. Bye for now.